welcome to Krista. She'll introduce herself and begin the program. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Julie. My name is Krista Crotty. My background is actually mechanical engineering, production, and operations management. I've sold everything from wine to funerals. And one thing I've learned in the past from places that I've had challenges is that I'm very good at helping business owners, friends, people that I have met see a different perspective. So I'd like to do today is I would like to share with you a little story before we get started. So once upon a time, a daughter complained to her father that life was miserable. Sure, we can all relate to this right now. She didn't know how she was going to make ends meet. She didn't know what she was going to be working on. She was tired of fighting and struggling all the time. And it just seemed that as one problem was solved, another one soon followed. Her father, a chef, took her to the kitchen. He filled 3 pots with water, placed eggs in one, coffee in another, and potatoes in the third. He let them sit there and boil without saying a word. His daughter moaned and waited impatiently and waited and wondered what he was doing. After about 20 minutes, he turned off the burners. He took the potatoes out of the pot, placed them in a bowl. He took the eggs out and placed them in a bowl, and then ladled out the coffee and placed it in a cup. Turning to his daughter, he asked, "What do you see?" The daughter belligerently replied, "Potatoes, eggs, and coffee." "Look closer," he said. And with that, I would like to talk to you about 5 tips for keeping moving forward during this time of struggle. Just a brief overview. I've been in business for technically just over a year as this brand. And though I have worked with companies for over 20 years on looking at where they're at and moving them forward. The first thing I'd like to talk about in this time of struggle and in this time of change is keeping a schedule. One of the biggest things that you can do as a business owner, for me, as a wife, as a mother, is keep a schedule. Okay. To me, if it's not calendared, it doesn't get done. That little reminder goes off and it reminds me that, hey, you know what? You get to do this, you get to do this, you get to do this. And for me personally in my business, there's actually not much that has changed from a business operations or a business admin side of things. Much of what I do for my clients is online, over the phone. I work with them individually. I work with them in groups. The one thing for me that has changed is networking. So thank you all for being flexible and being here in a virtual world. I very much love to go out and network with people. So I'm looking forward to being able to go back and doing that. As Julie shared before we started the recording, it's great to be able to do this and do this in small groups. I actually attended last week before, I attended my first happy hour during these virtual times. So keep a schedule. I mean, if this is a screenshot of a calendar, not my calendar, because I can tell you right now, you don't want to see my calendar. There's literally, this is nice because there's some white space, there's some time off. Mine, 0 white space, 0 dark space, depending on the mode that you have your phone in. And if something gets moved, brings me to my next point is be flexible. Okay. We've all learned flexibility in the past 6 to 8 weeks, right? Since this started, we started to see the current situation on the horizon and we started to be introduced to the way things are going to change. Be flexible. An organization I belong to, we were one of the first to move our networking meetings online. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of how. How do we do this? How do we keep business moving forward? And we actually launched a new networking chapter, starting out meeting person to person. We did our launch of the chapter virtually. And we've added a member, and we have a second member that's looking to be added this week. So when times change, when things go sideways. You know, to me, it's kind of like driving a car. You enter a skid and you know what? Holy, what's going on? And then you shift and you just enjoy the ride. So I encourage you to be flexible during these times. And as one of my mentors says, the most flexible person in the situation controls the situation. You are in control of you. You're in control of your actions. You're in control of your thoughts. Change is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. It's always optional. It's up to you to make that difference, to make it so that you can continue moving forward and see this time as a time of opportunity as opposed to a time of burden. This was something that popped up in my news feed actually yesterday or the day before. It's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent. It's the one that is most responsive to change. Again, that goes back to your flexibility, to how you respond. So do you respond or do you react? Something to think about. So the next point that I would like to bring up is be present. Focus on the here and now. Avoid focusing on the what ifs, the scenarios, the what if this happens, what if that happens, what happens. I'll use Las Vegas as a example. What happens if the casinos don't open until the middle or the end of May? What happens if, as Brigitte and I talk probably every couple of days, what happens if I can't go back to business as usual for another month or two, right? Think outside the box and avoid the what ifs. Think, hey, look at what other people around you are doing. Look at what other shifts people have made. I know massage therapists, I know Pilates instructors, I know hairstylists, estheticians who have all made a shift in their business. And the cool thing is, once we go back to whatever our new normal is, once we're able to go back and be in public and be around people, they now have an additional income source and resource for them to continue their business with. So whatever you're doing now, you can add to whatever your new normal was and bring it into whatever your new normal is. So whatever you feed grows and whatever you starve dies. So feed those positive thoughts, feed that ability to move forward, feed your LinkedIn account, feed your connections on Facebook, go out. I make it a point personally to add 3 to 5 new connections every day and then schedule a connect with them with 1 to 3 of those on a weekly basis so that I can be there and come from a place of service. So this is a phenomenal quote. Yeah. Apparently I haven't eaten my big frog this morning. But start with the big picture and chunk it down. I will make a book recommendation. If you have yet to read it, definitely read it. It's called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. And it talks about how to do the biggest things that scare you first, because after that, things are easy. Mark Twain is attributed with the quote of eating a live frog first thing in the morning, and nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day. Or as one of my friends says, as I walk across the yard from my house to my office, you know what? If I step in dog poop, nothing else bad can possibly happen to me the rest of the day. Take the hose, wash it off, and move on. So, really start with those things that scare you, because then after that, things are easy, right? And the one word of advice I will add to that is just start. Take those first steps. When you think about a baby learning to walk, they don't start running. Business owners don't start making millions the day they open the doors. Babies take the steps. They toddle along. They hold on to things, right? And the things that you can hold on to in business are making those connections. Reaching out to SCORE, reaching out to a business mentor, reaching out to a coach or a consultant and saying, hey, I'm stuck. Can you help me with this? Branson didn't get to where he is by being Branson. Branson got to where he is by reaching out and asking for help. Berkshire, Hathaway, all of those big names. Look at where Apple started, Google, Hewlett Packard. My background being in technology, they all started in a garage. All of them started in a garage. Guess where my office is? It's in a room above the garage. So model those that you know they've done it, they've walked in your footsteps, they've walked the path before, and use them to learn, use them to grow and feed those things that are going to move you forward. Especially nowadays, especially in the times that we're in, keep in touch with people, okay? Reach out to people, see how they're doing. Be respectful and come from a place of service. I've said this for years, fortune is in the follow-up. People ask me, how did you make $10,000 a month selling funerals? For me, it was being in front of my client 5 to 9 times. It was being in front of my client and answering their questions. And if I ended up with a no, I would simply ask, what other questions have I yet to answer that would help you make a decision? So your fortune is truly in the follow-up. And now in the times that we're in, the fortune is staying connected and coming from a place of service. You know, being there, letting people know that you are able to help them, that you're able to refocus them and help them look past where they're at now. So when someone's looking at something, they're looking at this, right? They're looking at this, and being able to expand even this much, being able to expand to where people can see what's out here just ever so slightly will make a huge difference in moving us forward and keeping business in business.
I've got some.
And keeping you making money or positioning yourself on the front of that wave versus being towed under by all of the crap that's going on there right now. So we want to be here, be of service, and keep you moving forward on the front of that wave and be able to continue doing business and add whatever we can add to your business to help you come out on the other side of this thriving. So this has always been a great quote. I've always loved this. The choice is yours. So in any crisis, be it personal, business, pandemic, etc., in Chinese, it's made up of 2 words, danger and opportunity. So you have a choice. You can focus on the danger or you can focus on the opportunity. I personally prefer to focus on the opportunity because there were more millionaires and billionaires made in times of depression and recession than any other time. If you can help someone,
can the person mute themselves, or can one of the hosts mute the person that's making all the noise?
yeah.
You know, this person, oh, I got it. Yeah.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you. Got it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think I forgot to tick the little box that said mute upon entry when recording. So next time, noted. So you have the choice right now of focusing on the, oh my goodness, everything's shut down, focusing on the danger that lies in what's happening right now. Or you can focus on the opportunity. You know, there's a whole cottage industry that has been created from this of people making face masks. Or my daughter and I made some this weekend. So, you know, there's a whole arena, a whole cottage industry that's been created by that. There's another industry out there that's been supplemented by the fact that everyone's moving online. Shatoya and Dawn both provide services that can be done remotely. Several people on this, in this seminar have the ability to provide services. You know, another one is the fact that there are elderly people who don't want to go out. I have a client right now that her business is booming. She's looking for people to go out and make deliveries, to be a personal shopper, to be that person that's on the forefront, that's able to go out and help those that are unable or unwilling or just don't want to deal with it to go out. My personal shopper happens to be my husband because I don't do crowds, I don't do people, I don't do idiots in the store. So I'm like, here you go, honey, here's the list. FaceTime me if you need something, video conference with me, call me, text me. And then, you know, we have a good laugh about it. And then I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go and I'll sit in the car. So, especially when you go up to those businesses right now that have the sign on the door saying admit 1 person at a time. So again, the choice is yours. This was a great quote that I was given years ago. Fear really has 2 meanings. you can forget everything and run, or in this case and nowadays, you can forget everything and kind of go into your hole, isolate yourself, or you can face everything and rise. I invite you to rise. I invite you to stay connected. And I invite you to continue to build and learn from those around you that are continuing to build their business, that are continuing to explore new opportunities. And if you have that side hustle, I invite you to spend a little bit more time on it every day, because we're doing less driving. We're doing less of getting from place to place. So that time that you had in your calendar to get from this networking meeting to that client, or that client to this networking meeting and such, refocus that time, whether it's personal development, relationship development, getting together with people one-on-one. I really invite you to put things in place now so that when we do go back to whatever our new normal is, you are able to accelerate your success even more. And attitude is everything. You know, you can choose to look at this as a danger. You can choose to look at this as an opportunity. So I know that Julie has been culling questions. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to wrap up my presentation, and then I'll go over the questions with Julie. So again, put your questions in the chat. So let's go back to the potatoes, eggs, and coffee. The father, look closer, touch the potatoes. The daughter noticed that they were soft. He asked her to take an egg from the basket and break it. After pulling off the shell, she observed the eggs were hard-boiled. Finally, he asked her to take a sip of coffee. Its rich aroma brought a smile to her face. Father, what does this mean? Then he explained that the potatoes, eggs, and coffee each had faced the same adversity, the hot water, and each one reacted differently. The potatoes went in strong, hard, and unrelenting, and within the boiling water, they softened. The egg was fragile, with a thin outer shell protecting its inner liquid until it was brought to the boiling water. After the adversity, it was hard. However, the coffee grounds were unique. They were exposed to the boiling water. Within the water, they changed and created something new. Which are you? He asked his daughter. When adversity knocks on your door, how will you respond? Are you a potato, an egg, or a coffee bean? So I ask you, which one will you be during this time of adversity, during this time of crisis? Are you the egg, the potato, or the coffee? So Julie, what questions do we have?
So thank you so much, Krista. That was absolutely fantastic. So there were 3 other people that joined us late, and I would like them to introduce themselves. We have Thomas